Kevin Holland takes on Ronaldo Jacare Souza. This fight is very interesting for a lot of reasons, but it should heavily, in my opinion, favor Jacare Souza for a lot of reasons. So I don't understand why he is the underdog in this fight. For example, Kevin Holland was cutting weight before this. He was scheduled to fight Jack Manson last week, and he only tested positive for the fight just like 6 or 7 days before it. So you have to take into consideration that he must have cut at least 15 to, let's say, 10 to 15 pounds for this fight. And then he rehydrated himself because he found out that he's no longer on the card. Then he takes on Jacare Souza because Marvin Vittori fell out of that fight and stepped in on the Jack Manson card. So that is gonna affect Kevin Holland. He's had two weight cuts. Don't forget that. So when you're making a prediction on this fight, you have to take that into consideration. And like, how will that weight cut affect Kevin Holland? Will affect him a lot, which I think it will, because Kevin Holland has never been that guy who's had incredible cardio. In his fight against Darren Stewart, he was slowing down in that third round. That could have been a 10-8 round to Darren Stewart. Like, Darren Stewart could have gotten a draw. Some people thought he won that fight, including one judge. I thought it was a competitive fight. It could have very easily have been a draw, but I thought Kevin Holland did win that fight. And another thing is that Kevin Holland has taken 4 fights in 1 year, meaning his last loss was to Brendan Allen just a year ago, and he's not really improved his jiu-jitsu because we've not seen it. We've not really seen his grappling, like, so we don't know how good Kevin Holland really is if this fight was to hit the ground. So if it stays in the clinch, the wrestling exchanges, and if it was to hit the ground, I would favor Jacare in all of those exchanges. Like, I don't see Kevin Holland having any success when it hits the ground or in the clinch. Another thing is Jacare Souza has very good stand-up. People, don't give him credit for his kickboxing, but he's got really good kickboxing. You saw that in the Jan Blachowicz fight. That was a very competitive fight. Many thought Jacare won. It was a split decision. The judge agreed with them. Judges aren't always right, but that was a competitive fight that could have gone either way. And look what Jan Blachowicz has done to his previous opponents. He KO'd Luke Rockhold stiff, KO'd Dominic Reyes, KO'd Corey Anderson stiff cold. But he couldn't finish Jacare. He knocked him down, but just couldn't get him out. That shows Jacare still has a chin also on him. So, he's not one of them older guys who's just completely out. He's 41 years old. And what we've seen from these older guys in the heavier divisions, for example, Alistair Overeem, a heavyweight, successful, but that's heavyweight. A lot of heavyweights are old. Light heavyweight, not Corey Anderson, Glover Teixeira, Jan Blachowicz, they're all having success. They're older in their career. Paul Craig's 35 years old. He's having success. These guys are old, but they're having success. Is the resurrection season, as I like to call it. I think Jacare Souza is going to win this fight. I think he gets it done by rear naked choke in the second round. I don't see Kevin Holland having that one punch KO power in him. Sure, he knocked out Joaquin Buckley stiff cold in the third round, but that's Joaquin Buckley. I don't really rate Joaquin Buckley, but he's got KO power, and that win is looking very impressive now. Joaquin Buckley was, he fought Impa Kasangan on short notice. Impa Kasangan is stepping on short notice, not Joaquin Buckley. Let's not forget that. Impa Kasangan should have really, looked to won. I thought he would have won that fight. They went to the distance. I predicted him to win the fight, and he was winning the fight. He was doing really good, and then he just got caught. Next up, he fought Jordan Wright. What has Jordan Wright done? How do you rate Jordan Wright? I actually want to know. Like, do you rate him a 10? Do you rate him an 8, a 5? I don't really rate him. Who has he beaten? Sure, he was 11-0 before going to that fight. What has Jordan Wright done to make me think he's a real fighter, like a real, UFC level caliber fighter? Sure, he had a great contender series knockout win. In the UFC, he's done nothing. I don't rate Jordan Wright that much. So therefore, I don't rate Kevin Holland's wins. His last loss was to Brendan Allen, who's the best opponent he has ever faced, and Brendan Allen choked him out in the second round. Before that, he lost a unanimous decision. The list goes on for Kevin Holland. He's on a 4-5 win streak in 1 year. He's like Yusuf Zalal, who was looking to go 5-0 in this year as well. He's just not improved enough. He doesn't have enough time to improve. He's cut too much weight. That's what's going to affect him. It affected Tony Ferguson. It will definitely affect Kevin Holland. He's not had the best card yet anyway, Another thing is Jacare Souza. He's looked good in all of his fights, even the ones he's lost. He had a good fight with, he had Jack Manson in a sort of trouble, but Jack Manson was really the only guy, along with Robert Whittaker, who was like dominant against him. Other than that, Blachowicz competitive, Weidman competitive win, Gastelum competitive, should have won that fight, but Kelvin Gastelum got gifted a decision. Let's just say that. What else can I say? Who did he beat before that? Derek Brunson knocked him out, not once but twice before that as well. So, you can't really compare the competition, and their skills are just so far apart. I wouldn't even be surprised if Jacare knocks out Kevin Holland. That's how highly I rate Jacare's skill set. So my prediction at the end of the day is Jacare Souza by second round submission. Would not be surprised if he knocks out Kevin Holland. I don't see Kevin Holland stopping him. He's not got that one punch knockout power for me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you agree with me, disagree with me. I want to know how you rate Kevin Holland. Do you rate him a 5, a 6, 7, even a 10? I'm middleweight. I don't rate him that high. I just don't see him winning this fight. Jacare, I rate as in 7 or solid 7 at middleweight. He's a very good fighter for me, and I don't see him losing this fight. That's my prediction, and I'm out.